You've heard of T-Rex, you've heard of Velociraptor. But what if I told you there was another giant predator walking this earth, one that was just as terrifying, just as powerful, and somehow almost nobody talks about it? Today we're diving into the story of the Acrocanthosaurus, and trust me, by the end of this video, you're going to wonder why this beast never got its own movie. So stick around, because this is one prehistoric story that deserves to be told. So let's get into it. First things first, that name. Acrocanthosaurus, it sounds like something you'd name a heavy metal band, right? But it actually means high-spined lizard. And once you see why, it makes total sense. This dinosaur had these tall, bony spines running along its back, some of them reaching up to about 17 inches high. Scientists aren't completely sure what they were for. Maybe they supported a muscular ridge, kind of like a bison's hump. Maybe they helped regulate body temperature. Or maybe, just maybe, they made this thing look even more intimidating than it already was. Because trust me, it didn't need the help. Now let's talk size, because this is where things get really interesting. Acrocanthosaurus was enormous. We're talking about an animal that stretched roughly 38 to 40 feet long and weighed somewhere around 6 to 7 tons. To put that in perspective, that's about as heavy as 2 large African elephants standing side by side. It walked on 2 legs, had tiny arms just like T-Rex, and had a massive skull packed with sharp, serrated teeth, built for one thing: tearing into flesh. This wasn't a plant eater taking a morning stroll. This was a living, breathing killing machine. And here's a little hook for you. This dinosaur was roaming North America about 113 to 110 million years ago. That's actually older than the T-Rex by about 40 million years. So in a way, Acrocanthosaurus was the king of its time, long before T-Rex even showed up to the party. Kind of makes you see T-Rex a little differently, doesn't it? Now, where did we actually find this creature? The first fossils were discovered in the 1940s in Oklahoma, USA. Since then, more remains have been found in Texas and Wyoming, and the fossils we've found are genuinely impressive. We have partial skeletons, skulls, and most excitingly, we have trackways. Actual footprints left behind in rock, frozen in time for over 100 million years. These tracks were found in Texas, in a place called the Paluxy River site. And here's where it gets dramatic. Some of those tracks show an Acrocanthosaurus apparently following sauropod dinosaurs. Sauropods are those long-necked giants like Brachiosaurus. So what you're essentially looking at is a chase, frozen in stone. A predator stalking its prey, captured forever in rock. That is insane when you think about it. A moment from over 100 million years ago, still visible today if you know where to look. Let's talk about how this dinosaur actually hunted, because this is where things get fascinating. Acrocanthosaurus belonged to a group of dinosaurs called Carcharodontosaurids. These were massive, meat-eating dinosaurs, and the name of the group literally references the great white shark, because of how their teeth were shaped. Flat, serrated, blade-like. Not designed for crushing bone like T-Rex's teeth were, but designed for slicing through meat like a knife through butter. Scientists have studied the arm bones of Acrocanthosaurus and found something unexpected. Its arms, while small compared to its body, were actually quite powerful. The muscle attachments on the bones suggest it could grip tightly. So the idea is that this dinosaur may have used its arms to hold on to struggling prey while it used those deadly teeth to do the real damage. Imagine something the size of a school bus holding you down with its arms while it bites you. Lovely thought, right? Here's another thing that makes Acrocanthosaurus stand out: its brain. Now, dinosaurs aren't exactly famous for being geniuses, but scientists created a digital model of the Acrocanthosaurus brain using CT scans of its skull. And what they found was interesting. The parts of the brain connected to hearing and smell were well developed. This means it was likely very good at detecting prey from a distance hearing movement, picking up scents in the air. It was a hunter built with precision tools, not just brute strength. And its inner ear structure suggested that it held its head low and horizontal, which is very different from how people usually imagine big dinosaurs walking around. It wasn't strutting with its head up high like a proud lion. It was low, focused, locked in like a predator that meant business every single moment. Silent, steady, and absolutely deadly. Now, you might be wondering, if this dinosaur was so impressive, why don't we hear about it more? Why isn't it in every dinosaur documentary or kid's lunchbox? Honestly, a big part of it comes down to timing and fossil luck. T-Rex had spectacular, well-preserved fossils discovered earlier, and it captured the public imagination first. Once T-Rex became the face of dinosaurs, everything else kind of got pushed to the side. But that's honestly a shame, because Acrocanthosaurus has just as rich a story, maybe even more mysterious in some ways. It deserved a poster on every classroom wall, and somehow it never got one. Researchers are still debating details about how it lived, how it moved, and how it interacted with the massive ecosystem it was part of. Every new fossil find adds another piece to the puzzle, and that puzzle is genuinely exciting. So let's bring it all together. Acrocanthosaurus was a giant apex predator that ruled North America over 110 million years ago. It was massive, up to 40 feet long and 7 tons. It had high spines along its back, powerful arms, blade-like teeth, and sharp senses that made it one of the most effective hunters to ever live on this planet. It left footprints behind that still tell the story of a chase that happened over 100 million years ago. And it did all of this roughly 40 million years before T-Rex was even born. The next time someone tells you T-Rex was the greatest predator to ever walk the earth, you can smile and say, actually, let me tell you about the king that came before. Acrocanthosaurus didn't need the spotlight. It ruled just fine without it. If you enjoyed this video, drop a like and let us know in the comments, which dinosaur do you want us to cover next? There are so many forgotten giants out there, and we're just getting started.